Hey, here we go. Welcome back to Boston has entered the chat. Travis Thomas, George Balekji. Feel good Friday. You know what doesn't feel good though? What? Every single time I log on the internet. You know that's hard for me. I'm in.
It's a typewriter.
Inside joke here. Everyone knows I have tech issues amongst many others. So I'm logging on. I go on Bleacher Report yesterday.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, we have the trade. We figured out the Celtics. Everywhere I look, everywhere I go on the internet, you have Jaylen Brown getting traded, or Jayson Tatum getting traded, or Derek White getting traded. So here's Bleacher Report's trade proposal for the Spurs getting a Jaylen Brown. As you look at this, George, do you love, like, or hate this proposed trade from Bleacher Report?
I'm a wash on it.
Wash?
I like it, but I'm not doing it. As you point out, every time we open our phones now, anytime you go anywhere, there's a Jaylen Brown proposed trade.
Yes.
What else can this man do? He was drafted and booed on draft night. He worked his way up from a 6-man to a 3-and-D player to a finals MVP, an all-pro caliber NBA player that got the Supermax.
You're not wrong.
And he's still getting shopped around in trades.
You're not wrong.
And he came back a better player after he got paid.
And you don't think, you think there's still more room for him to grow and become an even better?
Not even 30 yet. It's going to be tough to see how he comes back, but it's only a partially torn meniscus. Yes, he relies on his athleticism, but he gets better year by year, and he has the mindset to be one of the best players in the NBA. And every time he opens his phone, or every time he gets in his car, and if the radio's left on, it's Jaylen Brown trade talk. What else can the man do? Yeah. I'm not trading him. Now, this package, though, I understand it. That's something where you look and you think about it. You're getting Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, Jeremy Sochan. You're getting a Vassell who's a big wing, good shooter, and a lot of guys that can play both ways. And then you're getting 2 top 15 picks. Number two could be Ace Bailey out of Rutgers. I would take him over Dylan Harper.
Okay.
Harper's too much of a, puts the ball into the floor way too much. His usage is through the roof. Celtics are all about ball movement. But I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown busted his ass to become a top 20 player in the NBA, to be what you would hope any of these 5 guys you're drafting would become. Jaylen Brown is that, and an elite wing. I'm not trading.
Okay, I hear you, but you're sounding very like fanboy of loyalty. Listen, this is business.
Yeah.
Okay? For all the things you said why you shouldn't trade Jaylen Brown, I can make an argument that's exactly why you trade him right now, because I don't think his value is going to get any higher.
Okay.
You already know Tatum's going to miss next season. You already know you're not certainly going to be a championship team. I'm not going to go as far as a lot of people that next season's a wash. I don't necessarily believe that. I still think the Celtics are probably, with a healthy Jaylen Brown, by the way, are probably a 6, 7, maybe 5 seed in the East. So you're still a playoff team. You're not going into the dumps. But if you trade Jaylen Brown, that is signaling we could be, right? Then next season would be a wash. But you would trade him because of what you can get back. In fact, Yahoo Sports, I actually like this trade proposal better because I'm with you on Bleacher Reports. I don't hate this one. Take a look at this one now, George. Here's a name that jumps out to me. Stephon Castle, who played at UConn, right in our backyard. A guy we love. Number 2 pick still involved there. First round pick in 2027. I hate when they do this in the NBA. It's the only sport. It drives me nuts. 2030 first round pick. I mean, who's getting drafted there? My son.
I don't even know if the world will exist.
Right, what are we doing? But I do like this trade a little bit better. Do you?
Stephon Castle's a good player. He's a good two-way point guard. Doesn't shoot, though, but good defender and great at attacking the rim. And like you mentioned, yeah, he won a natty at UConn and was one of their best players on the floor. But that's the same thing. If I'm the one that's loyal to a fault, you are name recognition. I like this trade. End of the day, and this is where I go to, it's not the loyalty.
Right.
It is that when it comes to the NBA, with all these draft picks made, you hope one of the guys that you draft, let alone say they get 3 picks in one draft, you hope one of those guys ends up being an elite wing, a all-NBA guy. Jaylen Brown's that times 5.
Yeah.
He is
consistent.
that. I always go, give me the proven commodity over the prospect.
Sure.
And he's not even 30 years old yet. That's the thing. And I get it. Tatum's out. They have to shed salary.
Yeah.
They need to get under the tax apron. It's going to be a rebuild.
Yeah.
You don't have to get rid of Jaylen Brown to make all of that be accomplished. Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Sam Hauser. When you draft a Baylor Shireman, you can trade away Sam Hauser. That's where you're building up this roster. You have a good coach. You have a very good leader in the front office in Brad Stevens. That's the important parts of all of this. And end of the day, every NBA team would die to have a Jayson Tatum and a Jaylen Brown. Would die to have that.
Okay, you bring up Jayson Tatum. Any chance at all?
No, don't.
At all. I'm just, I asked a question. You know, this is what we do.
No, but if you
I'm
finish
just
the question,
asking
what,
the question.
extend them even more?
Is there any chance, we're talking Jaylen Brown here.
Okay.
But is there any chance Jayson Tatum is available via trade?
No.
GM George. Phone rings. Hi, is this George? Yes. Oh, this sounds relaxing. Where are you? I'm chasing Summer. How can I help you? Well, GM George, we're calling, inquiring about Jayson Tatum. Are you doing this? Or are you saying, go on?
Who's calling? What's the franchise? But I'm hanging up right away.
Well, what do you mean? You can't know. See what you did there? This is where you make me sick. You're on the fence. Who's calling? I'm hanging up. No. What do you mean who's calling? Let's stay there. Is there a team or a player that piques your interest where you would say, well, who is this? Oh, Milwaukee? Go on.
No.
What do you mean? Okay, so what do you mean by that, George?
San Antonio, Oklahoma City. That's I stay on the phone. And if it's San Antonio, it has to be a French name. If it's Oklahoma City, I need 3 syllables or 3 letters to an acronym, SGA or Wemby. That's where the conversation starts. That's where the conversation starts.
So you would have that? You would entertain those?
They would be crazy to do that, though.
Well, who would?
Both San Antonio and OKC.
The Celtics wouldn't.
SGA isn't even 27 yet and is about to win his first ring. Wemby hasn't even played 2 years in the league, and I know his season ended due to him dealing with what he's dealing with, but like the ceiling on both those guys is sky high. Wemby's going to be the future #1 player in the league. Go face whatever it may be. Those are the 2 players that I entertain if you're calling about Jayson Tatum.
I only asked the question because a couple wild and crazy guys on Nesson's Hold My Banner, great basketball program, you know it, great basketball program, actually threw this around as a topic. Take a listen.
As we were watching this Thunder win, people were feeling a little spicy mouth. You know what I mean? Seeing SGA get Western Conference Player of the Finals or whatever, MVP. They were talking a little spicy mouth. And some people were saying they would trade SGA.
Who was, say what?
For Jayson Tatum.
Who said that? The people in your DMs?
Some people in my DMs.
That were spicy mouth said walk me through this, that what?
Said that they would trade Jayson Tatum right now for SGA. I want to know how you feel about that.
I mean, well, yeah. What's the question?
Huh?
What you mean, huh?
What you would trade Jayson Tatum?
You can't hear now?
For SGA.
You all right?
You said, is this thing going?
Sir,
let me make sure you're paying attention to what I'm saying.
This is MVP of the league.
Oh my God.
How many MVPs does Jayson Tatum have?
None.
Okay.
So nothing about loyalty.
Now, loyalty. By the way,
championships.
By the way, respectfully, Tatum's a champion.
Right.
But we all think SGA's about to be one too.
About to be.
I'm just saying, respectfully.
So getting to the Eastern Conference Finals all them years for Tatum don't mean nothing?
I never said nothing don't mean nothing. I said I would trade Tatum for SGA. You damn right I would. And then loyalty in sports? Since when? How's never sound?
Hey.
Yes, I'm not spicy mouth like the people sliding in the DM. Okay,
Right.
I'm not out here broadcasting and manufacturing and banging the drum.
Right. Trade
Jayson Tatum for SGA. First of all, OKC ain't doing that. They don't want that. They're like, no, we're good with our guy.
Right.
Hell yeah.
And Boston is like, we good with our guy too.
Boston might be like that, not me.
Wait till this clip comes out. They're gonna be mad at you.
Look at my
take the mic away.
Jenny, give me the ISO. Give me the ISO, please.
Oh my God.
Ain't nobody worried about y'all. If y'all come for me, fine, cool. But if you really sit back and you ask yourself, right now, today, would I trade Jayson Tatum for SGA? You know the answer. I don't even gotta say nothing to you. I'm just bold enough to say, hell yeah. Okay, now I'm not gonna lie. I was aggressive with how I handled it, and the people did come for me, George. They did. They let me know. They let me hear it. Well, only a few agreed with.
Give me the rational. Don't give me the idiots of social media.
Well, then the rational, it was very quiet. It was only a couple of them that said Giannis and SGA they would consider.
Wemby and SGA for me.
And we didn't even really talk Wemby just because we thought the Spurs would never even entertain it. And obviously the Thunder as well. But Giannis is available, and that would not shock me. I don't necessarily think for Tatum. But I do think a Jaylen Brown, Giannis feels something to me.
Yes.
So I wouldn't be shocked if as the summer goes on, maybe we hear something. But most fans were like, no shot. Tatum's safe. I think most of us feel like Tatum's safe, but it's just worth the combo.
I understand the loyalty for Jayson Tatum, 1,000%. That's the face of your franchise. That's the best player for the Celtics right now. But you and I were the same. Without even knowing, you guys talked about that on Hold My Banner. Check it out wherever you get your podcast. Oklahoma City would not pick up the phone with that offer.
No.
SGA right now, and what we saw this season, and what we've seen the last couple of years of build up to, you can say SGA is top 3, top 4 in the NBA.
Absolutely.
You would say Tatum's top 5, top 7.
Yeah.
So he's right on his heels. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is younger, not dealing with a torn Achilles. OKC is not picking up that phone and making that offer.
Sure.
Exactly where you have a Giannis or an SGA, I have a Wemby or an SGA. Those are the players that I would listen to and listen to packages trading away a Jayson Tatum. Now, it wouldn't be a 1-for-1, though.
Yeah.
Tatum, Brown, other pieces, other draft picks. Like, that's what would come into it. But at the same time, Oklahoma City's not picking up that phone and making that happen, especially after they win the finals. That's a team that's below the tax.
Yeah.
Obviously, SGA is getting paid, but they've either traded for their talent or drafted their top talent, the top contributors on this team.
Sure.
That's a team that realistically, again, we always talk about the back-to-backs after they win one.
Yeah.
OKC can win back-to-back. They're young, they're healthy, they're under the tax, they're not getting paid yet. SGA is the reason why, though. That dude is absolutely dominating the Western Conference Finals, outshot Anthony Edwards, and has dominated the NBA the last 2 years.
Okay, so they're not picking up the phone, but we hear rumored that the Spurs are interested in shopping the number 2 pick. What about, let's move it up a bit. I mean, our old pal, old Nico. I mean, do you think there's a shot at all that the Mavericks move off number 1?
No.
Would you entertain a Tatum or a Brown to Dallas, who's trying to win now? So I guess Tatum would be out. So Jaylen Brown to Dallas, would you entertain that for Cooper Flag?
The number 1 pick, that would be straight up. I would not do Jaylen Brown for Cooper Flag either.
Okay.
I understand everything Cooper Flag does, but again, what's your floor? Because right now, Jaylen Brown's floor is an all-NBA player, worse than an all-star.
Yes.
And the second best player in the championship team.
Yes.
Cooper Flag's floor is the 3rd, 4th best player. You hope he could be a good number 2.
Sure.
Jaylen Brown's a fantastic, great all-NBA number 2.
He might be an
He's a
all-time
Finals
number
MVP.
2. Yeah.
He was the reason the Celtics dominated their way through the playoffs.
Some people think he's a number 1, dog.
I don't think he's a number 1.
I don't either.
I don't think he can be the best offensive option for a championship team.
Some people think that.
But he's a 1B to a really good 1A in a Tatum.
I agree with you, but I'll let you go with this. Maybe this is a little more realistic, because I don't think Nico is even in position to trade this pick. He better take Cooper Flag, okay? So let's take him off the board. Jaylen Brown's injured let's say you keep everyone. Jaylen Brown's injured next season, doesn't come back as soon as we thought, and then by the time he's ready, it's like, what's the point? Jayson Tatum's out. You stink. You're not trying to tank, but somehow you end up in the lottery.
Yeah.
AJ Dybantsa.
Yeah.
From Brockton.
What do you have, a 1.8% chance to have the number 1 overall pick?
Excuse me, sir. What did the Mavericks have?
That's what I'm saying.
And by the way, if this stuff is fixed, like many of us believe it is, and you got the Celtics in that lottery right
got
there.
The kid from Brockton going to the Celtics.
Am I crazy?
No.
Well, don't answer that. But am I far off here?
I really don't think it's fixed. And I was one that thinks it is, but how often does it happen? A team that should have been picking 11th gets a number 1 overall pick.
Yes.
Why would you reward Dallas? But yeah, I mean, if the Celtics are in position to get AJ Dybantsa, you get AJ Dybantsa. Because he can be that number 1, that best option for everything, offensively and defensively for a championship team.
Yes.
If they're in a place to draft an AJ Dybantsa, then you add him to a Tatum and a Brown, that 3-headed monster.
Oh my goodness.
That's it.
That's nasty. And you wouldn't have to give up Jaylen Brown. In my scenario, you wouldn't have to give up Jaylen Brown.
You don't second guess it.
Wow.
But that's a pipe dream.
It is.
That's beyond a pipe dream.
It is. I don't hate tanking for him, though. Like, if Jaylen Brown gets his surgery later and he's hurt.
Go ask the Utah Jazz about tanking for a number 1 overall pick, though.
Yeah,
it's a lottery end of the day.
Yes, it doesn't always work out.
The 76ers have the number 3 overall pick.
Right.
Like, how absurd that is. Now, they were terrible and a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
And good for them. They'll get an Ace Bailey or a Harper. Let's see. But tanking doesn't work in the NBA.